So as I was recording my last video talking about how Alexander the Great taught us one big lesson on how to actually make 50 to 100k a month as a business owner, either agency or a coach, I realized one big thing. I realized that most business owners are sorts of building castles, not empires. And that's a massive, massive mistake. Now I'm gonna explain why. So if you don't want to stay broke and if you want to build an actual empire where you'll be able to, expand like this picture right here is showing, there's like a float, literally like an army floating towards new territories. And if you want to stay on the same journey with your business, you'll obviously give the video a watch until the end. If not, good luck, you can leave it right now. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that most business owners are building castles instead of empires because they focus on their little kingdom, some small business doing 10, 20k a month, trying to do everything themselves because they're either super cheap and they care too much about their revenue, how much of their revenue is actually gonna be a profit. You get me? They are just too cheap on giving this sort of a rev share. They're protecting every tiny detail and never expanding beyond their own effort, But the biggest leaders in history, not only business-wise, but like Alexander the Great, for example, in the last video, they didn't build castles, they built empires. Territories that ran without them expanded automatically, and they dominated markets, they dominated the world, So literally, let me show you how to stop thinking like a castle builder and start scaling like an empire builder. Because if you take a look at this picture right here, this is probably Julius Caesar or whoever. Bro, he's not even dirty. Like, do I even need to tell more? He's just standing in front of millions of people. Obviously, this is just, a drawing or whatever, but this is literally how it was happening. He was all tidy, he was just taking care of himself, and he was only strategizing and sending all these high quality army, high quality soldiers in the war for him. And that's exactly how step by step you also build your own army of people who are going to, unlike with empire, or unlike with castle, who are actually going to work for you while you're being there, the big boy CEO. You get me? So when it comes to empire scaling framework type of stuff and how to build a sales machine that runs without you, that's super important. There are two ways. There is this lone king type of guy, which is something that usually most of the people like fall into. It's like a trap, and that's exactly why most businesses stay stuck at 10 to 20k a month. Don't get me wrong, 10 to 20k a month is a really amazing work, But if you genuinely want to build an empire, you can't get complacent with 10 to 20k a month. You need to look for more. You need to be at like 50, 100k a month, 7, 8-figure business owner. You get me? And that's the trap I'm constantly talking about. You controlling everything. You being lone, sigma, whatever gay term you want to use, genuinely. You are the main salesperson, the strategist, the operator, you're doing an outreach, you're doing the cold calling, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're shooting the videos, which is obviously the most important part, by the way. Shooting those videos on your personal brand or shooting the videos in form of a long form like I'm currently doing, because that's how you attract eyeballs. And don't get me wrong, when I said how I'm doing, I'm not trying to attract any eyeballs, I'm just making people realize, like I said in the last video, I'm creating an army of people who want to conquer an entire market, because we're not here to take part, we're here to take over, and that's literally what it's all about, So like I said, the purpose of these videos is to help you get to 6, 7, 8 figures, so then you can start creating an army, because you obviously need to build a foundation first, build a system, the same way Julius did, right? You need to build a system that will be able to get replicated by someone else with 100% of the exact same efforts. And you being lone kind of guy, it ain't gonna work, bro. Because do you think the thing is that all these lone guys, they think they can handle it by themselves. And if they think so, it won't be done right. Because me personally, I don't have an ego. It might seem like that, but I generally don't have an ego, because if I see someone being better at me at a certain area of the business, I'm just gonna tell him, bro, like, I'm gonna pay you X amount, do this for me. I ain't some all-known guy. I don't know everything. And that's the biggest problem, that all these 99.9% of the businesses are actually doing, I would say. They're literally digging the grave for themselves. Short term, it's all good, but I can almost guarantee you that after, I would say, maybe a year or so, I'm just saying it on the low end, by the way, after a year, they'll realize that they can't do it all by themselves, because even if they start getting clients and making that money, the thing is that it becomes just like a modern day 9 to 5. You're literally wasting 16 hours a day in your office delivering the results to those high ticket paying clients, and then you're kind of stuck because you can't get any more clients, so you need to get someone else doing that for you. And once again, you are trying to delegate the workload, so everything comes down to that one thing. And all these loan guys, they also feel like no one can match their standards, so they hesitate pretty much to trust others. And that's the problem, because castles don't expand, they just protect what they have. You get me? That's literally the purpose of a castle. All those big, fat, thick walls are meant to protect what they have, but no expansion whatsoever. And that's why they're stuck at the exact same place. And then on the other hand, what I like to call it, the empire expansion model. How, for example, Genghis Khan, by the way, you might realize already that I'm a big fan of these conquerors and these leaders. How Genghis Khan built without limits. He didn't control everything. He built a war machine that did the work for him. He was just in the front, leading from the front, literally, being the leader that everyone wants. But to some extent, he didn't get dirty. He ain't doing this dirty work. He's strategizing. Second thing, you can't manage people. You can only manage outcomes. For example, sales booked, revenue generated, whatever. You manage a certain guy that then, I would say, affect the outcome. But the inputs need to be done not by you, but by someone else. Do you get me? Then what else? You don't just hire people. Genghis Khan didn't just find some geeky gay soldiers out there, feminine boys, and then, oh bro, we're managing to outnumber our opponents, let's go. It ain't working like that. It just doesn't work like that. You need to train and pretty much create killers who operate at the highest possible level. You remember that movie 300? Even though they were massively outnumbered, they were ready to die in front of 10,000 Persian warriors. And that's the solution, this empire expansion model type of thing. That's the solution, because empires expand because they have systems and commanders, not just one leader doing everything. It's just a simple fact, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to develop that type of mentality where you are genuinely replicable. We all are. But in your best interest should be to stack as much cash as possible with least amount of efforts. Because let me ask you, pause the video right now and try to remember why you even started your business in the first place. Was it because you wanted to be free? Was it because you wanted to make more money? I'm sure it was, because that's why I started my business, for example, So how to actually build your empire instead of babysitting a castle, like I like to say. First, you need to recruit ruthless expansion forces, or in other words, setters and closers who win. Trust me, and this, you might feel that this isn't a right point of view for me. You might feel that you can maybe hire AI agents or whatever, but nah, I've never met anyone who long term managed to succeed at it. Once again, he made 10, 20k a month for a couple months, but it's not a long term thing. Even multi-millionaires, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, who else? Steve Jobs, they all at some point had all these people under them doing the work for them while they were literally just stacking cash, counting the cash in their bank account. Because your business should be like Genghis Khan's army. Every person should be trained to conquer new ground, aka, guess what? Book calls and close deals. Track KPIs, track leads, track the CRM, whatever. Lead lost is money lost. So you can't deny, or you can't rely on AI agents, let's say, doing that. Yeah, all those leads are going to be listed in some sort of a CRM, but who the hell is going to follow up with them? Because for the follow up strategy, when you're doing some sort of follow up spree or whatever, you need to have a reason for following up, because no one likes to be followed up on if it's about selling. Like, yo, bro, yeah, how's the business been going? Not so good, huh? Well, let's get started. Let me sell you my shit. No, it doesn't work like that. So you need to rely on these, like I said, ruthless expansion forces. That's the play. Stop hiring weak players. Set your standards so high that only the killers actually survive. You get me? Your setters should be so aggressive with prospecting that they wake up hungry to win, not just to work, which is exactly why my guys are on commission basis only. I don't like working with these princesses being like, yo, yeah, I want to make some quick cash, I want some sort of guaranteed income. Bro, if you want a guaranteed income, just go into your work a 9 to 5 and fuck you get me? It ain't working like that, genuinely. And then, once you manage to outsource it everything, this literally step by step thing that I would do if I was in the position where, I was just either starting or just looking to hire some new people. Then create a strategy, systems that expand your reach daily. Genghis Khan, once again, his troops knew exactly what to do at every single battle. No confusion, no hesitation, they just executed. And you need those kinds of guys. Your sales processes should be just as sharp. Setters booking calls, closers selling, you leading from the front, attracting new eyeballs, running ads, managing, securing this constant lead flow, because even if it's an outbound campaign, you need to have a proper personal brand or a proper YouTube so that those cold outbound leads can be converted with, guess who? With your setters, with your killers who are battling for you. Obviously, they are getting paid fairly, but you see the point. Every day, your team should be expanding into new markets, cold outreach, inbound leads, referrals, affiliates, whatever, without waiting for you to tell them what to do. But in order for them to actually know what to do, you need to lead from the front. And that's the final step. Lead like, lead like 3 Genghis Khans, not some random geeky business owner. Because, like we established already in multiple other videos, there are thousands and thousands of new coaches, agencies, consultants, business owners in general coming into market every single day, and it's never been easier to get flushed out. So you need to stand out, because your job is not to check if they're working hard, like, oh yeah, bro, send me the daily report and I'll see if you're managing to put in the inputs. But bro, fuck the inputs if you are not seeing any output from that. Your job is to make sure that the empire is growing. And you can only grow if you're selling, making cash, just putting your brand on the map and expanding. If someone is weak, they get cut fast. If someone is a killer, they get more opportunities. That's how me and all my setters that I train, place, and manage inside my program work. Obviously, everyone's gonna get the chance, but it's on them if they're skilled enough to survive or they're gonna get flushed out of the market. It's a ruthless game. Sales is genuinely a ruthless game, and that's exactly why it's not for everyone. I don't know a single person who is not a real killer that's actually successful in sales. Whether that's his own business, whether that's appointment setting, closing, whatever. Your main focus personally should be on expansion, optimization, and multiplying success. Multiplying success is what it's all about. Test, execute, and always grow. Let's say with ads, my top best return on ad spend with my client was 42x return on ad spend. But obviously that didn't come all of a sudden. We tested, we realized which market to target, what types of ad creatives to do, and then what approach should my killer setter use under my management. And that's how we managed to get there. Fixing small problems every single day is the key, because essentially that's how businesses work. So yeah, like I said in the last video, if you want to be a part of my army, genuinely, let's go. Make sure to subscribe, and we need to execute. We need to collect an army of like-minded guys. And if you're still running your business like a lone king protecting his castle, you're never going to scale past like 20k a month. Genuinely, the businesses that hit 50, 100k a month, they build empires once again. And You know, I ain't trying to sell you anything. Generally, I don't even have any program to sell you. All my money is being made from the rev share only after the deal gets closed. So if you want to, I don't know, get a better ideas on how to build a team of ruthless killers that scale your business while your focus is on leading, you can either comment down below or subscribe. And I'm constantly posting these YouTube videos, and I'll even send you some special things, you know, that I'm sharing with my clients. So yeah, you can go out there and do it on your own. I generally don't have anything from these videos. I honestly want to help and create an army that will be willing and able to conquer the market together with me. You know, so if you're ready to dominate like an unstoppable force, make sure you subscribe, because I'm dropping high level sales and leadership strategies every single week, multiple times per week. So yeah, my plan is to help you grow fast. So once you're at that level, we can finally delegate the workload and start conquering the market the same way this boy right here did, and the same way these men right here did. So yeah, cheers for staying this long, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep smashing it, boys. It's do or die time.